Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Highlander Hoops Weekly. I'm your host, Chris Stoner. We will be airing this show every Monday night for the remainder of the season. In addition to chatting with Coach Sturgeon each week, we'll also feature a different Highlander player or two on every show. Today's feature, we will have two players, senior Brendon Hobson and junior Cobie Barnes, so be sure to stick around after Coach Sturgeon and I chat to get to know Brendon and Cobie a little better. If you're not already following us on Twitter, be sure to do so. That's at FCHS_hoops. The Highlanders now rank 4th in the latest IBCA poll that just came out earlier today. 14-1 on the season and still undefeated in the Hoosier Hills Conference at 4-0. Our show is sponsored by Pete Palmer Law, located at 303 Scribner Drive in New Albany. You can reach Palmer Law at 812-338-5500. Palmer Law, a proud supporter of Floyd Central basketball. Well, Coach, last week a 3-win week, all in the conference. And talking about the conference for a little bit, wins last week over Jeff, Jennings, and Madison. Top 10 ranking, the Hall of Fame Classic, very prestigious. The win over New Albany for the first time since '03. Eyes on a sectional and more. So a lot going on this year, a lot of great things for Floyd Central basketball, but sometimes the conference can get overlooked. And you guys are a few wins away from an undefeated conference championship. What would that mean to the program?
Well, you know, as we're trying to build the program, I think it would be significant for us to reach that. Now, obviously, in Indiana basketball, the postseason gets the most attention, justifiably so, but this is our regular season championship. And so this would be the second biggest prize that's out there for us to get. And I think it's good experience as we build toward a championship program. You know, we talked about at Roncalli. This is our first chance to win a championship, to have expectations that we're not going to do well, we're going to win a championship. And to get experience doing that and getting over the hump and all that, I think is important for the program to make those steps to where it becomes that's the expectation that we're playing at that level. And so we have a chance to do that. People were talking about before last week, you guys are, you're undefeated in the conference. I'm like, we're 1-0. It's hard to get excited about that yet. But now that we're 4-0, that puts us more than halfway there. We got Seymour this week, and so we're really getting into the thick of the conference race now.
You know, one thing I thought of just now, something you said made me think of a baseball reference. Scott Rowland played for the Cardinals, Reds, I believe Blue Jays as well in his MLB career, a semi-local guy from Jasper. And when he got to the Reds, and they had a few years there in the late 90s when they got to the playoffs, and the guy said about Rowland, they said, we were preparing to play every day. When Scott Rowland got here, the culture changed, and we were preparing to win, and it was different. And do you think that the culture that these guys have created, these seniors and juniors in particular, they've created that type of culture? We're not just coming to play each day, but we're preparing to win.
I believe so. I see a difference in our team this year over even a year ago, in that I don't have to get on them very much. I just, all I have to do is kind of like whistle at them a little bit of like, hey, let's be at game speed now. And they crank it up and get there. But I think that comes with, we have several guys that want to play in college that are being actively, I'm sure you're going to talk to these two guys about that. And if you have guys on your team that are planning on not just playing this year and enjoying high school, but playing beyond that, they know that the farther we go, there's more opportunity for them to be recruited at a higher level. And then just if you have goal-oriented people, that's what we were talking about after the game the other night. They want to do well. They're driven to do well. They put a lot of time in when nobody's watching, and I think they really are motivated by going out and performing. Somebody that's a singer, hard to come up with an example right now, but Celine Dion, if we want to go an odd kind of she's out in Vegas, she's got millions of dollars in the bank, but she goes out to perform every night in Las Vegas because she has pride in her craft and she enjoys showing off. She's really good at it. And so whether you're using her or someone else, I just happen to think because I saw her on TV last night. But and it's the same way with these guys. They put in all this practice time. They're really good. They want to show off. They want people to see, look how good we are.
Right.
And so I'm excited about us getting to that stage.
When you said Celine Dion, Cobie looked up because he's got 3 or 4 of her albums on his phone.
I've actually heard it coming out of his earbuds a few times.
Right.
All of them.
All of them, he said. To add to that, a couple things stuck out to me last week. The Jeff game, Tuesday night, tight game throughout, but again, with 2 minutes to go, it just seemed like the vibe was the team was going to win. They're going to figure out a way, make a basket, get a stop, hit free throws, and all of that happened, and got a close win against a very good team. And then the other thing that you just alluded to that we talked about after the Madison game is you just have a lot of guys that take pride in what they do, and you said show off, but they want to play as well as they can every night. How do you translate that down the line and build the program so 5-10 years from now that's still happening with Floyd Central basketball?
Well, I'm not sure. Here's the way we approach it, and that is just to think small, and that is we're going to try to figure out a way to get better tomorrow, and then just keep building on that. And then what you hope happens is, as the varsity team gets good, you start looking around and more the young kids are coming to the game and wearing the numbers of these guys on their jersey, and that you hope that they're sleeping with that jersey, and dreaming of playing for the Highlanders, and that you develop that culture. And obviously then you need good coaches down below. If we can keep Brett Eads involved in the quality of coaching with the guys that are helping even down further, if we keep that level of coaching in the middle school, we got a chance to do what you're talking about, that those guys have high standards. They're communicating, well, I say they're communicating our vision. Those guys have the same vision. They want the team to be, Brett doesn't have a son on the middle school team. He's doing it because he really is trying to push these kids and help them get here and do well. And he coached almost all these guys that are playing on the varsity probably for multiple years down there in the middle school. And so it starts at a young age, and hopefully we can, this becomes a wave of where it keeps rising and the stakes keep getting higher and kids keep working harder and harder at it. My plan, I haven't talked to Cobie and Luke about this yet, but those are 2 guys that have worked going back to middle school. They had a vision that they wanted to be college players, and they've been working beyond what most kids do. And I'm going to ask them to sit down with the middle school kids and their families and tell them, here's what we did. Everybody's like, would you like, if we go down to the middle school basketball camp and say, hold up your hand if you want to play college basketball, they all have their hand up. Then you start asking them, well, how much time how many of you put in 1 hour every single day? And you've lost half of them, and a third of those are not really truthful, And so these guys, and then our other guys have probably caught on a little bit later, but they've started putting in the time. It's not just 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for 4 months if you really want to excel and have a chance to play in college.
Last year, the 14-game win streak, and not to mention a negative, it kind of came crashing down at Columbus East in a game that probably nobody at this table wants to remember. But this year at 14-1, it just seems a different vibe to me. During that win streak, everything just seemed new. And I guess in a way it was. The Floyd Central had not won that many games in a row in a long time. Got to 19 wins total for the season. That hadn't been done in a while. And it just seems like to me at 14-1, everything just seems ho-hum. I mean, it's expected. It as far as the team goes, and just the atmosphere that, as you said, this is what we just do each night. We're going to go out. We're going to play hard. And the wins have just mounted up. Am I right on that?
Well, I hope there's an underlying expectation there. When I watch the Patriots, that's taken it to a whole nother level. Those guys have been champions multiple times. No one watching that game starting the fourth quarter when the Patriots are 10 points down, including apparently the Jaguars, thought that anything was going to happen except that the Patriots were going to win that game. Now, the reason that happens is their attention to detail, and they are so buttoned down. They take every opponent seriously. They never make mistakes. The other teams make all those mistakes, get all those penalties, at 0 penalties, or 1 maybe yesterday. But I guess my point is, I hope we're building that expectation that our guys are like, we're 3 down with a minute left, but we're going to find a way to win this. So I hope that we have that confidence. But to get that confidence, we still have to have that drive to get really good and get better all the time and continue to improve. And so if we can do that, if we can stay humble and motivated at the same time of having that high expectation, then we'll have a chance to really do something fantastic.
Well, 2 chances this week to improve. A double weekend. Friday, home game with Seymour. Saturday, a home game with Evansville Reitz. What can you tell us about those opponents?
Well, I don't know anything about Reitz yet except their record. And so they're having a nice season. They're only 2 or 3 years removed from playing in the state championship game themselves, so they also have an expectation of winning in that program. Seymour is the team. It's a conference game. It's this Friday. It's the first game. So that Seymour will be the team we'll be practicing for 90% of the week will be spent on Seymour. And they've really improved their team. They have, when you look at, like, for the first time since I've been here, they have 5 good starting players that could play for virtually every team in the league. And so they are, I think they're in the process of moving from the bottom of the league to the middle of the league this year, and maybe have a chance to go further if they can knock a couple people off. So they've got size that the last couple of years they've been able to be very competitive with us. When we beat them twice on last-second shots 2 years ago, and then last year did a little bit better, but really it was a battle because they control tempo. They've got good guards who are strong with the ball and can dictate the tempo. And then they've had some size to match up with us so that we don't overwhelm them on the boards and around the basket. And so that's allowed them to be very competitive with us. And so we'll have to have all of our attention toward beating Seymour. And as you mentioned, we got a chance now to play for a championship here in the league. And so we won't be spending much time on Evansville Reitz until Saturday.
Well, let's talk to our players. We've got senior Brendon Hobson here, junior Cobie Barnes. And before we get to them, Coach, you have any few words you'd like to say about these 2 guys? Been in the program a lot and contributed a whole lot to the winning season this year?
Well, I'll start with Brendon. Brendon is a guy that I think has really started to gain confidence as the season's gone along. And since he's come back from having his nose broken and playing with the face mask, I've been so impressed with him. He's got every excuse in the book to be a little timid, and we've seen him get hit in the face multiple times, dive on the floor for a loose ball and have a guy jump on his head and have to, have blood coming out of his head. We've seen him take charges. He was in there with his face right in the guy's chest the other night, and the guy swung his elbows and hit him in the mouth, and he just continues to get boards and to drive the ball to the basket with reckless abandon. And I really feel like he's a wild card on our team. Everybody looks at like Cobie and Luke, but how many teams have a third guy that can match up with him? And he's really had some nice games for us here in these last 7 or 8 games. He's played fantastic. And consequently, that's the reason why he has multiple coaches sticking around after the games to talk to him after games like Madison the other night. Cobie, we're just trying to get him back on his feet. He's had a tough month here of a succession of being hospitalized after the New Albany game for dehydration, and then that vicious flu that went through southern Indiana, getting the worst of that, and that knocking him back, and then food poisoning or whatever that strand was that he had this last week. And so hopefully we can get him where he has 2 or 3 good weeks of good health, good sleep and eating, but I really feel like he's taken his game up a notch. That he's a 2-time all-conference player, like Luke, who they could come in, going through the motions, had nice senior years, and and all that, but they've really been driven to take their game up a notch. And two guys that are, I don't know exactly where they are in that 17-point and 8 or 9 rebound, and then they're sharing those points and rebounds with guys like Brendon, and so it's hard for a guy on our team to be a 20 and 10 guy, but he certainly could be that guy. And then next year he'll have lots of opportunities to he'll have a chance to get all the shots and rebounds he wants next year after we lose these 7 seniors. There'll be lots of opportunities for Cobie to pad his stats a little bit next year.
But for right now, it's Dean Smith's North Carolina, basically, right?
That's a good problem to have.
He was the only guy who could hold Jordan under 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, don't let those nice things go to your head too much. We'll start with you, Brendon. Thanks for joining us. We just had a nice questionnaire for you guys to fill out, and we always start with some not basketball stuff. You list your favorite subject in school as history.
Yep.
Is that because of Coach Sturgeon?
No, I shouldn't have Coach Sturgeon. I had Mr. McKay at AP History, and I really enjoyed the class. Just like learning about how our country evolved and stuff like that.
So do you have a certain part of history that you like the best?
No, I like history, geography, anything in that field I generally like.
Other sports, you're a basketball-only guy, but what about other interests? Do you like watching football, baseball?
Yeah, I love watching like all sports. I'm in a class for radio, and I call a lot of the games, like softball, football, girls basketball. I just really enjoy being around the sports and the atmosphere, and I enjoy watching them.
Well, Cobie, let's go back and forth here. You've got your favorite school subject. Now, he's got a slash here, and this is a very interesting combination. You like pre-calculus, which, okay, but you also like art.
Yeah.
And in my experience, those two things just usually don't go together, so help us out there.
I have a really good art class. Like, I have a lot of my friends in there, and I wasn't very good at it, and then it was like something just happened this year, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm not like super good, but I'm decent at it. And then pre-cal, I've always liked math and stuff like that, so it's been kind of easy for me. So I like it.
Good enough. Now, your other sports, you just listed specifically that backyard football.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you're a quarterback and you don't get hit, by the way, in that.
Two-hand touch.
Two-hand touch, okay. We don't need any goofy injuries. And then also wiffle ball. So tell us about wiffle ball. Do you have the bat flip down?
I used to be a baseball champion. Back on the green machine with all the guys, Jalen Potes, all those guys. Jalen, we had a bunch of guys. We used to play baseball, and then I've just always liked playing baseball. I quit because I didn't think that I got bored of it, actually.
You wouldn't have beat my team back in the day.
We would have destroyed you.
Me, Braxton.
One time I remember we were playing in South Harrison, we hung like 70 on the team. It was crazy. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, we actually put 70 runs on the team. And then backyard football, I'm a wide receiver. It's since I'm like 6'5", and nobody else in my family is like. I have one other person that's 6'6", but he's a big burly guy. So I'm just right behind.
You're like Julio Jones, just throw up the jump ball and you go get it.
I'm going to getting it.
Brendon, you've got down for hobbies. You like hanging out with your friends and ultimate frisbee.
Yeah.
So I was just introduced to ultimate frisbee a few years ago as my son in a PE class, and I just thought it was probably frisbee, and they just tried to make it sound cool. But tell everybody what ultimate frisbee is.
Yeah, like your son, I got hooked on PE too. It's basically a form of football. You throw a frisbee down the field, and if you catch it, you can't move, and you got to find your teammate down the field, and you got to work your way into the end zone. But if you drop it, the other team gets it, and they march the other way. But, yeah, I enjoy doing that. Much like Cobie with receiver, you just kind of throw it up and like to go get it and run.
All right. Cobie, you've got Hobbies Xbox. You listed your favorite games, Fortnite and NBA 2K18, and also a hobby of hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume that was after the New Albany game. You took up a hobby of liking to drink a lot of Gatorade and water?
Before the New Albany game, like that day, I had like 1.5 gallons of water. So I was like, all right, today and like the day before I was drinking a bunch of water. And then after that, it was kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm going to drink a lot of water. And I've given up soda. That was like last year though. But I've mainly been drinking Gatorade and water. So
do you have to get a hall pass every period to go to the bathroom, or?
Getting a little personal here on Highlander Hoops Weekly, aren't we?
Just curious. It came right to mind. Well, you've got down Xbox. You like NBA 2K18. Who's your favorite team?
I mean, you can give me anybody, and no, it's like that. But if I had to pick, last year I was really big with Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers. I could give anybody like 60 with him. Like, that's nothing. And then this year, I like them still. I don't like to use the Rockets as much as I used to because they're so good, and it's kind of unfair. But I'd say probably the Blazers or the Rockets.
No, Brendon, do you play 2K18?
Yeah, I do.
So who's your team?
I don't really have a favorite team either. I kind of go by personnel, who I'm feeling that day. But I like to play with the Timberwolves. I think they have a nice young roster and a good defense. I like playing with them.
So neither of you play with Golden State?
That's
if
too
you
easy,
play against
too
Golden
easy.
State, you're the worst player I've ever played against. I'm not playing with you.
Now, what about the all-time great teams they have on there? Do you ever play with any of the old Laker teams or Celtic teams?
I've done it before. I'm a real big Heat guy. I got the hoodie right here.
Oh, okay. You got the LeBron and D-Wade Heat team?
That team's tough. Or the Warriors, again, are too overpowered. I played with them once, and I was like, it's crazy. Because Stephen Curry shoots from like 6 feet behind the line, and then you have like 5 other shooters on the court at the same time. Either them, the Heat, or the Lakers, they're crazy too. Because you got Magic, Cobie,
Well,
Shaq.
Mike. Gotta go with Mike.
Yeah, what about Jordan's teams?
They've only got like... Their starting 5 is crazy, but then the bench doesn't match up with anybody else.
And that shows you how good Jordan was, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had him, Pippen, and then... Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's like Derrick Rose and stuff like that. And their center's like Luke Longley or something.
Oh, you're talking about like an all-time Bull team.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, I got you. All right, back to our questionnaire here. Brendon, you've got favorite TV show Big Brother.
Yep.
Why is that?
I don't know. Me and my family watch it. It's sort of a game show. It's hard to explain exactly what it is, but I don't know if you all know Survivor, but it's similar to that. You vote people, and there's a head of household, and they like vote people out, and it comes down to one winner. But it's hard to explain, but I enjoy watching it.
Good enough. Cobie, you have 14 shows here listed, but we'll narrow it down. You have you watch too much TV. Here's what I'm guessing. You got Black Mirror, The Walking Dead, American Horror Story, which that is a good show, and Blackish, which is hilarious. So let's start with the ones that I don't know what they are. Black Mirror, what's that?
It's like based in the future, kind of. And it's like a bunch of high-tech stuff, but it's real weird. Like, I don't know why I like it. It's just a weird show, but it's cool. I like it.
Well, I'm going to move to Blackish because that's one of my favorites. So who's your favorite character on Blackish?
Junior.
Junior?
Yeah. He's my favorite. He's awkward.
I'm a Ruby fan. She brings in a lot of good lines. Junior is awkward, I'll give you that. Favorite movie, Brendon? This kind of an older movie.
Yeah.
Not as old as Luke Goldman's favorite TV show. Did you guys hear that? What
Yeah.
that favorite TV show is?
I forgot.
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You got to dig
like
to
the
find
shoes.
that. You like the shoes. But your favorite movie is Elf.
Yeah.
Why Elf?
I like Christmas movies, and I also like comedies. And Will Ferrell, I think he's a funny actor, and he's just goofy. So those two combined with Christmas and Will Ferrell, and just always have liked it.
Good enough. I got to admit, I've never seen that all the way through.
No, you're missing out.
So is Elf a movie you can just watch in July and still be entertained?
Not as entertained as in the winter, but yeah, you can definitely watch it anytime.
Yeah, Chris, you need to make that a priority next winter. That needs to move into the yearly rotation.
I'm with you. I've never watched it all the way through either.
Gotcha. I'm more of a Christmas Vacation guy, but Cobie, so you got your favorite movie, Avengers. Mm-hmm. Good man. I'm a big Marvel guy myself, and Step Brothers. So with Avengers, who's your favorite superhero?
I like Thor. That's my guy.
Is that because you're trying to grow your hair as long as his? Or?
No. I like his hammer. He's just whoosh. It's dope.
The hammer is good stuff. Brendon, something fans may not know about you, that you call some of the football games for WNAS and girls basketball. Do you like the play-by-play aspect of that, or do you like the color commentary, the analysis?
I've done both, but I kind of like color. I like watching the play happen and breaking it down and explaining what happened and just saying what they could have done better or what they could have done less and just stuff like that. So I'm more of a color kind of guy. Sit back and watch.
Gotcha.
So.
Cobie, you've got something fans may not know about you. You're a big mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently you're not embarrassed to admit that on the World Wide Web here.
Yeah.
No explanation needed, I guess. Mom, good cooking. Just enjoy time with your mom.
We've been through a lot. Like, we've just been through a lot. We've moved places, and before that, we've been through a lot too. So,
good enough. Always good to have a solid mom in your corner. Both you guys mentioned your favorite game of the season, New Albany. I don't think we need to really elaborate on the why right there. Both good answers. Cobie, you've got favorite memory of your basketball career, getting your first college offer. Who was that, and when was that?
it was Evansville, and it was last year during school. I went down to Coach Sturgeon's office, and I called Coach Simmons, and he offered me a scholarship. Then it was during lunch, and it was like, I remember it. I was going to geography, and then my heart was racing, and then whenever he said it, I was speechless.
Brendon, you've got your favorite memory, just general fun times with the guys.
Yeah.
Can you think of 2 or 3 that really stand out?
It's pretty daily with us, and we're a pretty goofy group, and in the locker room every day we just have fun, and after games, just messing around, and it really is daily. Like, every time you come in, it's not like, I have to go to practice. You could be with your best friends, and it's just fun.
That's a good environment to have. You've got your favorite memory of Coach Sturgeon. Now, we'll need some elaboration here. A hide-and-seek championship in the hotel.
Yeah. 2 years ago, we went up to Indy for a tournament, and we were in this giant hotel that connected to the mall. And we had some downtime that evening, and there were many floors, and we split up into groups and played a giant game of hide-and-seek. And I can't remember if we got in trouble or what happened, but Coach called us in. He's like, now, if we came here to play the World Championship of Hide and Seek, I think we have a pretty good shot. He was like, but if we came here to play basketball, he's like, I'm not so sure. And it was just funny how it all went down. It was goofy.
Now, see, I thought that had been renamed Manhunt nowadays.
I had to dumb it down.
Dumb it down for our listeners?
It's too hip or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a coach, you feel good about it when your son's one of the senior captains on the team and is spearheading the whole world's largest hide-and-go-seek championship the night before we're going to play in an all-day tournament. Yeah.
Of all the options they could do the night before, though.
It could be worse. I agree.
Cobie, you've got your favorite memory of Coach Sturgeon after a loss to Jasper your freshman year. He went on a rant in practice the next day. Do you remember any details of that?
We were like 2 for 25 for 3. And then the next day in practice, we came in we were doing 5-on-5, and then our first 3 shots were 2 pass threes or something like that. And then he got real mad and was like, "We're not gonna keep shooting threes," and just it was the funniest. It was bad at the time, but then after, because he was real mad, and then we had to run after, and then but afterwards it was one of those funny things.
We fixed that problem where we never shoot a 3-point shot. So
right.
We maybe sometimes go too far the other way, but I think the wrath was justified that night, if I remember right. That was the game
at Jasper.
At Jasper, they were playing zone, and we
were 4 for 25 from 3. No joke, it was bad.
We didn't take 25 3-pointers in December this year.
That's right. Well, last thing we got is your guys' plans for next year. We'll start with you, Brendon, the senior. Okay. You hope to play basketball somewhere. We just talked about Saturday night at Madison that Thomas More was looking at you. And was there another?
Yeah, Hanover.
And Hanover was there as well. I know you hope to play somewhere. Is there Any school that fits what you're looking to focus on academically as well as basketball-wise?
Well, they've all said they have everything that they need there. Like I've said, I want to go to broadcasting. They said all have good programs there. I've taken 2 visits so far. That was to Anderson as my first, and then Hanover not too long ago. And I enjoy both campuses, and it's definitely something I want to pursue. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go yet, but definitely something I want to do after high school.
So broadcasting would be a major?
Yeah, communications, somewhere in there.
Cobie, of course, your plans hopefully be back here. Definitely be back here next year as a senior. And you've got some good things down, want to get better, build off of this year, and do bigger and better things. Looking at you after high school, do you have any idea what you want to major in college? Is there any schools that you like right now? And you don't have to comment on that if you want, but in anything you're looking at to focus on major-wise, or what you're looking for maybe in a basketball program?
I either want to be a meteorologist or
where does art and pre-cal come to that?
He's got a minor in art.
I am going to be a ceramics in my downtime. And then, or sports broadcasting. I'm taking radio TV next year. And I mean, the colleges that I've been talking to, they've all said the same thing, that they have it all. And it's like...
Okay. You mean no college coach has said, "Oh, our school doesn't have that. Forget
they're
it."
the greatest everything.
Right.
But I haven't really thought about it yet. I'm just trying to let it play out, and then by next year, I want to be able to, before the season starts, I want to be able to sit down and figure out where I want to go.
So we should see both of them on the local news someday. Or maybe national news. Brendon will be giving the sports, and then Cobie will be scaring us to death because it might rain tomorrow.
That's right.
I got to ask, though, so you don't mind the meteorologist?
John Belsky should be retiring about that time that Cobie's coming out.
Right, after his 60th year in the area.
That's exactly right. And or Reed Yaden, one of those spots surely be open by then.
Right.
And then Brendon will be in there on the front desk. So it should be good times on the Louisville media market in a couple of years.
Well, it's been great, Brendon. Cobie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck this weekend. Looking forward to the games, Coach. Thanks again. Any closing words before we sign off?
Let's get 2 more this week.
Sounds good. Well, for Coach Sturgeon, for Brendon, for Cobie, I'm Chris Stoner saying so long. Another edition of Highlander Hoops Weekly in the book. Be sure and follow us on Twitter at FCHS_hoops. And be sure and come out and support your Highlanders this weekend, both home games against Seymour and Evansville Rights. Until next Monday, so long, everybody.